Hello and welcome to today's lesson. We will be looking at Q Skills 3 Listening and Speaking Unit 2. In this unit, you will learn the following skill: quantifiers with count and non-count nouns. So how much do you know about using quantifiers with count and non-count nouns? Well, turn to page 40 and take a look at this grammar skill. Pause the screen and read it through. Okay, so let's take a look at this briefly before we look at this in depth. Count nouns, also known as countable nouns, are the names of things we can count. For example, 1 egg and 2 bananas. Non-count nouns, also known as uncountable nouns, are the names of things we cannot count, such as cheese and water. So when you paused the screen, you would have seen examples for using how many and how much, too many and too much, enough and not enough. Before we begin, let's take a look at the term quantifiers. We use quantifiers to give the amount of something. Quantifiers usually come before nouns. Here are some examples. We do a little exercise in the morning. Here you can see a little is the quantifier and the noun is exercise. In the second example we have, there are many people crossing the street. Many is the quantifier and people is the noun. Let's take a look at quantifiers with plural count nouns. Count nouns are nouns that can be singular or plural. Quantifiers we often use with plural count nouns include a few, a lot of, and many. We use a few to show a small amount. Here is an example. I need a few minutes to relax. Here you can see a few is the quantifier and minutes is the plural count noun. In the second case we use many and a lot of to show a large amount. Libraries have many books. There are a lot of ships in the ocean. So how about quantifiers with non-count nouns? Well, non-count nouns are singular, never plural. Quantifiers we often use with non-count nouns include a little, a lot of, and not much. We use a little to show a small amount. I take a little sugar in my coffee. Here you can see sugar is singular. It hasn't been made plural because it's a non-count noun. We use a lot of to show a large amount. My grandfather has a lot of patience. We use not much in negative statements. Hurry up, we don't have much time. Okay, so the non-count nouns in these examples were sugar, patience, and time. So let's do some practice by using a few and a little. Read the sentences, complete each sentence with a few or a little. Pause the screen and complete the questions. Okay, so now that you have completed each sentence with a few or a little, let's check the answers. I have a little coffee when I wake up. We saw a few good movies last summer. There is a little soup left if you want some. I have a little work to do before I go home. We brought a few friends with us. He has a few things to ask you. So how did you do? Well done. So now let's also practice with using many and much. Again, read the sentences and complete each sentence with many or much. Pause the screen and play the screen again for the answers. Okay, great. So here are the answers. There are many people at the mall. There isn't much traffic on Sunday. I don't drink much soda anymore. We don't have much luggage to check. Many artists live in this part of town. Boston has many colleges and universities. So now let's take a look at how to use how many and how much. We use how many and how much to ask about the amount of something. We use how many with plural count nouns. For example, how many loaves of bread should we get? Here you can see loaves is the plural count noun. How many vitamins do you take? Now let's take a look at this. We use how much with non-count nouns. How much water do you drink a day? How much food do you want? Here you can see water and food are singular and they are non-count nouns. Therefore, how much needs to be used. Okay, let's practice using how many and how much. Read the questions, complete each question with how many or how much. Pause the screen and play again when you're ready to check your answers. So how did you do? Here are the answers. How many countries are there in the world? Here, countries is plural, therefore how many must be used. How much information is on the internet? How much sugar do you take in your coffee? How many children do they have? How many vacations do you take per year? How much rest did the doctor suggest? Be careful when to use how many and how much. Look at the noun and ask yourself, is it countable or uncountable? Take a look at this. Too many and too much. We use too many and too much to say we have more than we want or need of something. Too many and too much usually have a negative meaning. We use too many with plural count nouns. He plays too many video games. Don't eat too many fries. Here you can see video games and fries are plural count nouns. We use too much with non-count nouns. I have too much work to do. There's too much traffic. Here you can see work and traffic are singular non-count nouns, and therefore too much must be used. Okay, so let's practice. Read the sentences and complete each sentence with too many or too much. Pause the screen and play again when you're ready to check your answers. So how did you do this time? Let's take a look. Don't drink too much caffeine before bed. There are too many people waiting in this line. I think you paid too much money for your car. We've had too much rain, so the river is very high. This test has too many problems to solve. I try not to give my kids too many sweets. Okay, so check your answers. Now let's move on to enough and not enough. We can use the quantifiers enough and not enough with both plural count nouns and non-count nouns. We use enough plus a noun to say the amount is appropriate. There are enough chairs for everyone. I think we have enough work to do. So here in the first example, chairs is a plural countable noun. In the second example, work is a non-count noun. Take a look at the below. We use not enough and a noun to say the amount is too little. I do not have enough stamps to mail this letter. There is not enough time to finish. Okay, so let's practice using enough and not enough. Use the words to make a sentence with enough and a sentence with not enough for each example given. Pause the screen and play again when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so here we go. We have enough food for dinner. We do not have enough food for dinner. There is enough milk in the fridge. There is not enough milk in the fridge. There are enough people to take a vote. There are not enough people to take a vote. So let's take a look at this. Page 41, Exercise A. Complete the conversations with words and phrases from the box. Then practice the conversations with a friend or a partner. We have the words enough, many, too many, not enough, much, and too much. Pause the screen and think of what you think the answers could be. So how did you do? We'll take a look at the answers. Number 1, we said many. Number 2, enough. Number 3, too many. Number 4, much. Number 5, not enough. And number 6, too much. Let's take a look at the dialogue. Hey, that smells great. What are you cooking? Chicken with chilies and rice. Do you want to try some? Sure. Wow, that's hot. How many chilies did you put in? 5, but they're really small. Don't you like spicy food? Yeah, I do, but it's too hot for me. What do you think of the soup? It's potato and onion. It's okay. It seems like there is something missing though. Maybe I didn't put in enough salt. And it's pretty thick, isn't it? Yes, I think I used too many potatoes. How much sugar did you put in this coffee? 1 teaspoon. That's not enough for me. I like my coffee very sweet. Well, you shouldn't have too much. You'll get fat. Okay, so that was the grammar skill. Now let's have a look at this. LMS activities. Log in to LMS for further practice of count and non-count nouns. Thank you very much.